Last of Us is back on HBO, and season 2 began here with episode 1 with so many different things. Whether it be that intense scene between Ellie and I guess the stalker, to this new Abby individual that I think is going to be our adversary in some way during the season, to just hinting that there's going to be a big conflict rising up in the town of Jackson, in my personal opinion, and some other standouts altogether. I think it's clear to say, though, that this is the best show on HBO currently, and I'm going to have fun talking about it with you all season long. That's right. I am somebody who does not know or have played the games when it comes to The Last of Us, so while I have an idea of some of the big spoilers maybe coming ahead, overall, I'm not sure who these characters are and where they're going to be leading us throughout this season. I just know that the story is just really gripping, and the actors and everybody involved gave it a tremendous performance all throughout season 1, and I think it picks up here in season 2 pretty much great from the start. Now, I'll be honest a little bit, the fact that we have a time jump can be iffy at some ways. Clearly you're coming in with a Joel and Ellie kind of beefing, and we'll talk more about that as this review goes on, but starting the season kind of with the fallout of Joel's decision to save Ellie with the Fireflies, and introducing it to us as Caitlin Dever, who is playing Abby Anderson this year, somebody who was clearly affected by the rampage Joel went on to save Ellie in Salt Lake City the year before. It was great to see Jurass back. I think they're a lovely addition to this world. But Abby is going to be set on killing Joel. And even though we now see 5 years later, a whole plethora of things has happened as Ellie and Joel have reintegrated with that society in Jackson. Seeing the repercussions of Joel's decisions there, I think is something that's going to be happening throughout this season, and I think it's kind of already happening itself. They're very much hinting at the conflict between, Joel and Ellie, kind of maybe going back to that point where Joel saved Ellie from the Fireflies. I don't know what has caused them to be in this feud and Ellie to feel like Joel doesn't need to protect her. And you even get that at the end. I mean, Pedro Pascal as Joel gives excellent performance throughout this episode, and we'll talk more about it later, but the ending parts in the New Year's Day kind of, family dance party, whatever you want to call it, where Joel jumps in to defend Ellie from somebody who called her and Dina, and we'll get to talk about Dina a little bit, a dyke, and the heartbreak in Pedro Pascal's face when he gets told by Ellie, I don't need your help. You can tell he's still trying to treat her as if it's his daughter and he needs to protect her. And you saw that throughout the end of season 1. But you kind of wonder, did Joel at one point tell Ellie what happened that much in Salt Lake, and that's why there's this big divide? Has Joel just been kind of the overprotecting guardian? And like a lot of times with overprotecting guardians, their teenage adolescence people tend to push back on that a lot of times. That could be going on between Ellie and Joel, but they are not on the same page. And what I did like this episode, though, is Bella Ramsey really bringing out Ellie and really making you realize her and Joel from the beginning of last season are cut very much from the same cloth. She kind of does her own thing. She isn't really too worried about rules, and she feels like she knows better than everybody else. And that was very on point for Joel that we saw all throughout season 1. Now, Joel is playing a much further back in the landscaped world. In this Jackson village, he seems like he's trying to build housing, get everything up and working. He's kind of a community leader, per se. And it's kind of great to see him be so vulnerable and more human than what was 5 years ago. I mean, the scene between him and Gale, played by Catherine O'Hara, was fantastic, and hearing Gale just go off on Joel and why she does not like Joel and whether that's fair or not, I just thought really brought a lot of emotions and stakes to what is just making this new world they're living in so tough and so conflicting the whole entire time. Again, O'Hara does a tremendous performance. I don't know who Gail is and what part she plays throughout the season, but she seems like somebody who's lurking in the background. She's giving Joel therapy, but is she good? Is she bad? Is she just a person trying to survive and help others? We'll find out, but Catherine O'Hara in this first episode, just with that interaction with Pedro Pascal and Joel in that therapy session, was so strong and was pushing Joel further than I think anybody has when it comes to emotionally and being open and vulnerable to the rest of the world. Gabriel Luna back here as Tommy was... that fight they were practicing on with Ellie at the beginning was great. I think all of his interactions around the whole entire town, I think Gabriel Luna was fit back in there perfectly. But the star of this episode for me has to be Isabella Merced as Dina. Again, I kind of know loosely that Dina and Ellie are going to be kind of a pair together, having, a potential romance in there. But Isabella as Dina just popped off the screen, whether it's her interactions with Pedro Pascal and the introductions with Joel just going over circuitry, to being on that kind of adventure with Ellie, going into the store and trying to take on some of the infected, to the overall ending of the episode where she's really letting Ellie know, hey, I like you. Let's share this romantic moment. Let's really show you that I really do care about you. I'm so interested to see where Dina goes this whole season because she's very much, I feel, a good mix of Ellie and Joel. She still has kind of that stubbornness and that feeling that they're better than people that you get from Ellie, who's very much in the, I know what I'm doing, let me go do my own thing, while also being understanding, compassionate, and just loving life. Maybe Joel's not a good example of loving life right now, but definitely it's a great balance having Dina in there, and I just think Isabella Merced fit that character so well. Her whole interactions worked incredibly well. I feel like her chemistry with Bella Ramsey, as with Ellie and Dina, worked extremely well this episode, and I look forward to the journey we're going to go on with her throughout this season. I think Ellie and Dina are going to be a core two if Ellie and Joel can't link back up. Other things we gotta talk about, probably the highlight for everybody in the episode is the stalker. The being a little bit smarter than normal infected, not just a clicker looking at sound, being quiet, stalking its prey, and taking a bite out of Ellie. Will be interesting to see if this new bite comes out, and one, if Ellie's still immune, I'm guessing she still will be, but two, how will the people around her react to seeing a fresh bite? I assume it will come out at some point, if at least with Dina in this whole world scenario. This is the first time I think Ellie's been bit since we've met her all the way back in season 1 with that episode with, Storm Reed in the mall. So, but yeah, the stalker, that was such a good, well put together scene. It brought a lot of tension, had a lot of great shots in there. I think I like the idea of the council treating this as almost like a mystery of ooh, they're evolving and they're adapting. It's been 5 years since we've last seen the infected. I want to say it's been about 18, 19 years since the actual infection took place, maybe even longer. So it's kind of natural for things to evolve and for predators like the infected to get stronger against their prey. And seeing those pipes at the end, you see kind of the infected fungal roots pop out, calling more infected potentially to the area. I think we're going to have a big showdown, eventually maybe tearing Jackson apart. I hope it doesn't happen because it's nice to see the people of Jackson be so rewarding to any refugees and building up a positive community. But it definitely feels like this world and the teasing of a horde isn't misplaced in a show like this. Overall, though, episode 1 of season 2, I just think delivered on all these newer characters. I'm so more bought into Gail. I mean, Catherine O'Hara is a great actress, and it's so interesting to see Catherine O'Hara play not just a comedy role. I already spoke the praises about Isabella Merced as Dina, fantastic. The highlight of the whole entire first episode. I can't wait to get more involved with Dina. And then even Caitlin Dever in the very beginning and kind of the very end as Abby, I think delivered an interesting performance and an interesting perspective to go against maybe what happened last season with Joel. And I'm interested to see where Abby's story goes throughout this season too, and where it might lead. The overall cast growing, I just think did a really great job. I liked the stalker element and giving kind of us that good horror feel that you get from Last of Us in the beginning seasons. You leave a lot of things open for ambiguity, like what's going to happen with Ellie's bite. Obviously, I think Laurel thinks she'll be immune, but what will happen with other people find out. You have Joel just not knowing how to get in touch with Ellie, and he has a foe coming up, it seems, that he might not be aware about moving forward, but he's definitely in a struggling point right now to where he feels like he's pushing his limits. He was even suggesting not trying to bring in refugees, and I love that it was pointed out to him that he himself was a refugee with Ellie. But yeah, I think we're set up for a pretty complex, great season, and I can't wait to see where all these characters and stories goes. Tell me what was your favorite part of the season premiere of Last of Us. Like and subscribe to come back to all of these recaps and reviews every week as we go on this Season 2 journey together. I have other videos up on the channel with movie reviews, Survivor talk. If you like Skyrim, you can see some playthrough stuff of that. But I'm enjoying The Last of Us, whether it was Season 1 or Season 2, and maybe I should try the game one of these times. Tell me in the comments down below, but I'll wait for you next week, next Sunday, Easter Sunday, for Episode 2 of Last of Us Season 2.